Welcome to the Arsenal show. We are live and it's the Leeds versus Arsenal match preview. I'm joined by my co-host Steve K. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Very good. Let's hope we can keep the winning streak going. So yeah, good.
Yep, and we just not long had the pre-match press conference from Mikel Arteta, and he has announced once again Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will not be available for the game against Leeds. What's your thoughts on that?
I expected it. I didn't expect him to be, available for selection. I think we said on the Arsenal show that I feel that something's gone on in that meeting where they've took the captaincy away from him. That's a bit more than just that. I think he's probably lost it. He feels a bit hard done by, and I got that impression from Mikel Arteta in the post and pre-match press conferences for the West Ham. So yeah, there's something else going on. It ain't just been a straight take the captains away. I think he's lost it, and that's why he's not available for selection. And yeah, he could be on his way in January. What I'm hearing, and we may not see him again, which is a big shame because at the end of the day, we loved him, didn't we? You can't take away from that.
Yeah, definitely. And there's definitely still a lot of love for him, but I don't think anyone would have any qualms in him coming back into the team. But if the manager has made that decision, then that is it. You got to stick by it. So other than that, team news looks pretty similar. No real injuries that I've noticed. So that being said, what's your thoughts on the game first and foremost?
Yeah, it's going to be. It's always a tough game. I think it'll be something a bit similar to the Everton game, and I think it's an opportunity for Arsenal to rewrite that wrong and that performance that we did against Everton, because I think this is going to be like a similar away trip, if you like, because Leeds and Everton, to me, they're very similar. You go away, you go into quite a hostile away ground who, no matter what form they're in, you still got to play well on your day to beat them. And so yeah, again, it will be tough. I do expect to win. Leeds are not playing well at the moment. Manager's under a bit of pressure. That could either go two ways. They got absolutely ripped apart by Manchester City. They're sitting fifth from bottom, third worst goal difference, with goals against in a Premiership. So, with all that said, we should be going there and looking for. It's never an easy win, but I'll take a win, and I expect to win.
Yeah, Leeds in not in the best of form and conceding quite a lot of goals. Recently 7-0 against Man City the other day, although that's Man City. 3-2 away from home against Chelsea side. Conceding 2 against Brentford. They've got a 1-0 victory against Crystal Palace. It's they're conceding goals, which is a big problem. Arsenal, big opportunity to exploit that, you think?
Oh yeah, definitely a big opportunity. I mean, us, on our day when we're going forward, especially now we've got Martinelli, sort of cementing his place in that side and playing well. I'm sure he's going to fancy his chances against a defence that's, is lacking confidence at the moment, and it could always turn the other way, because obviously they're going to be told, the manager's going to be on them, that the fact that they ain't going to be wanting to get another ride in again. But I still think that it's a great opportunity for us. I think it's with our attacking players on the day, with the way they're playing at the moment, with the way Saka's playing, with the way Martinelli's playing, and Odegaard, Smith Rowe. The way the forward players are playing, Tomiyasu going down the flanks, and Tierney going down the other flanks. Just think it's going to be too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a funny feeling we're on a little bit of a roll at the moment. We're getting that little bit of confidence in the side. So, expecting a win. Want to win, expect to win. And, I won't be thinking nothing less.
All right. So, that being said, team news is the same. What's your predicted lineup?
Yeah, this is getting quite easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Which is like is fantastic. Really, it's a breath of fresh air. But it's going to be Ramsdale in goal. It's going to be Tomiyasu. It's going to be White. It's going to be Gabriel. It's going to be Tierney. It's going to be Xhaka. It's going to be Partey. You could bring Lukonga in for one of those, but I still think that just stick with those two for now. And just, they're not done anything wrong, really, to be pulled out. And then up front, you've got Martinelli on one side. You've got Lacazette then playing as a false 9 or a number 10 or a centre striker, whatever he may be. I don't know what they're calling Lacazette these days. And, and Saka, obviously, on the right. But then there's the question, I'll be very interested to see the people in the comments what they think. Whether we play Martin Odegaard or Emil Smith Rowe. I mean, I've still, I've been thinking about it from last night, all this morning, and I still can't make my mind up with my pick. I mean, either or for me. But I've got to say one, haven't I? And how can you say one of those?
It's tough.
Can't it be 12 aside? I wish it was 12 aside because, it has come down to that. It has come down to that where it is either him or him, and I'm gonna say Smith Rowe, but that's if Odegaard's playing, just as good. But I'm thinking from Arteta, he scored a goal. And
so you're going to swap out Odegaard instead of Smith Rowe, and you're going to keep Martinelli on the wing.
I'm going to put Smith Rowe in for Odegaard.
Okay.
Kira, it's one of them. I just can't. How can you choose between them? I mean, it's like, who do you want to play? It's like, I don't. We've got two players there who are absolutely at the top of their game. People who have got their own. Are going to bring their own different, dangers to for Leeds, but you've got to bring one out, and one of them's got to sit on the bench, and I'm just going to go I'm going to go for Smith Rowe, just due to the fact that he scored, the week, but. But come on, can't you help me out here? Someone help. Glenn in the comments. Help me out, mate.
Glenn Ten's in the room. He's saying, do you not think there'd be any rotation? It's very hard to rotate in the moment. Who would you change, Glenn? And you're talking about the Norwich game next as well. Would you make many changes for that? Remember Sunderland in between in the cup.
See, that's where you can make all the changes against Sunderland. That'll be a totally different team, I think, against Sunderland. So
and then I mean, I'm looking at the fixtures. I mean, we've still got to play everyone again, but I'm looking at the fixtures, and the fixture list is set out very nicely for Arsenal. If they can gain some momentum in, there's going to be tricky games in between, like Wolves. Wolves is a tough test. Then you've got City. You've got an FA Cup tie against Nottingham Forest away from home. Then you've got Tottenham away from home. You've got Burnley, Wolves. And it's getting into that patches where it's a tough patch, but then you've got a nice run. The fixture list, I think, has been set up nicely for Arsenal this year to really have a good run towards the end of the season.
We still haven't got that, that many players where you think, we want to swap, we can change. I mean, the only choices you've got, do you give Tavares a game instead of Tierney? Do you bring Lokonga in instead of and take Xhaka or Party out and give them a break? And then where do you go after that? There's not really anywhere else to go. You got Odegaard and Smith Rowe who you can give rest to now because they're more or less the same player. But other than that, what is? Do you want Leno to come in for Ramsdale? No, I don't. I'm quite happy to see him against Sunderland.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm quite happy to see Cedric give Tomiyasu a rest and, you know, maybe 3 or 4 others. But certainly when it comes to the Premiership, for me, you've got to play your best side every single week.
Yeah. For the Premier League, it's a heavy fixture list. I see what you're saying, Glenn. It's a heavy fixture congestion during Christmas. We've got the Sunderland game on the 21st. That's where you can change it. That's where you can give some of the key players a rest there. Then you've got Norwich back into the fold with them again. And then you've got Wolves. Yeah. Maybe a couple of changes in around the Norwich game. I see what you're saying. Could potentially.
When's the Norwich game? When is the Norwich game?
The 26th. So if
you've still got a good gap there, haven't you? You've got a good gap from the Sunderland games to the Norwich game. You've got a 5-day gap there. So you've got a good rest there.
And then you've got 3. You've got a 3-day gap. And then you've got
nothing we're not used to, is it? It's Christmas. It's the Christmas period. Everybody knows what to expect. You know, it's a tough time. Everybody's got to go through the same. So, yeah, let's not mess about with the side. Let's just keep the same side. And, yeah, they're young. You know what I mean? They can handle 3 games in 7 days. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. I'd only be making changes if there's any knocks. So, out of that squad, who would you say is the key player for this game against Leeds?
Key player, I think. Let's go for Martinelli again. You know, let's see that if he can keep his form up. Obviously, we're going to have this an away game, so an away game you've got to score goals. I genuinely don't feel we're going to be pushed that much by them. You know, going through like the defence. I don't see anybody in their side that's going to. Oh, what I do? Yeah, there's Rafinha. You know, he's obviously got to be dealt with and looked after. But other than that, when you go away, you've got to look at someone scoring goals or the player that's going to make the goals. And yeah, I like to see Martinelli. So I'm going to go for Martinelli as the key player.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No Daniel James for Leeds. Leeds are very much a side that need, in my opinion, they need all their cogs to tick. And when they have a few out or 1 or 2 out, they don't have the same. It's not the same play. It's not the same fluidity. So yeah, and I think they've got a couple of other players out. They've got lacking in midfield. I was just watching a Leeds podcast, actually, funny enough, and they're lacking in midfield. So hopefully the combination of Partey and Xhaka could win that over come Saturday.
Yeah, they should.
What's your score predictions for the game?
I think, you know, we're playing a Leeds team who I've already said are very low on confidence, and if we can get an early goal, if we can start the way we started against West Ham, I think we could give, you know, we could we could put Bielsa's job under pressure after this game. And early goal, play like we did against West Ham. I can see Leeds scoring because they're a very attacking side, but they do leave themselves open. And the amount of goals that they're letting in, and the way our forwards and our offensive players have been playing, I expect goals. You know, I do expect goals. So I'm going to go for might even have a little bet on this one. A bit of I've had a bet for about a few years, but might have a little 4-1.
4-1. All right.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to be tuning in for this one. 4-1.
I just think they're lacking so much less confidence at the minute. And if we can start the way we did against West Ham and get an early goal, I think that could just then they'll come out even more and try and attack us. And I just think we pick them off.
Yeah, that's one thing with Bielsa's team. He doesn't change the way he plays. So whether they're got 5 people missing and they're 3-0 down, he will carry on relentlessly, keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think the Premiership is not what he thought it would be? I mean, I was someone who was with the. I mean, I know he's got a lot of plaudits, and rightly so when he's played that from what he's done in other countries. But I always was like, jury was out for me until I see him like what he would do in this league. And I haven't been as impressed as what other people have. And where they're sitting now is maybe sort of thinking, maybe you had a point, Steve. Maybe you had a point, because the way they play, I mean, our guys, they could even go down if they keep, this player playing. They keep, as you said, they've got this way of playing where they just don't change. They just stick to the way they're playing. But when you're sitting 4th from bottom or 5th from bottom and you're 3rd, highest goal, letting goals in, then as a manager, surely you've got to change it. Surely you've got to.
I wouldn't say so much about with regards to the Premier League, because they came 9th last season. So they finished top half in their first season back into the Premier League in 20 years. And the way they played, very expansive football, very, very good to watch. But I think this season, with a combination of leaking goals, they've also not been scoring too many goals either. And that's been a big, big problem. As I said previously, they need all their players to tick. And I think they just need to get in the right signings. I think if they can do that, if they can get through this season, because second season syndrome, I've seen it happen so many times with teams that have done really well in the first season. And I think if they can get through this season, survive, put some money into some players and the right players next season, I think they'll be back pushing and playing the way we saw Leeds last season. But
it looks like they're losing Rafinha, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, they really do need a goal scorer.
Yeah, they'll lose Rafinha, whether it's January or summer. It looks like he's going. Too many little rumours going around, and the agent saying that he's going, and things like that. And Liverpool, sneaking around. Klopp saying what he's saying about what he thinks of him. Put all that together, you sort of come up with sort of him off and him going to Liverpool at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, last season I can't remember how many goals Patrick Bamford scored, but he's only played 6 goals in the Premier League games in the Premier League this season and scored 2 goals. Now the goal ratio is not bad, but he's only played 6 games in 16, so probably more than that. So they're missing those goals from him. And they're just not ticked the same as last season. So yeah, it remains to be seen. Glenn 10's gone for 3-1 Arsenal. One question before we go. Hold on a second. What's he saying? You're saying, can we agree that Arteta was right in the way he handled Martinelli? I've been so impressed with his decision making and composure in key moments. He's focused on controlling every touch. It's easy for people to fill in the gaps and make up stuff when one of their players that they like the look of isn't playing. But as we said the other day, Martinelli's had 2 big injuries, which kept him out at the point when he was just starting to get a run in the team and playing well. And I think patience from not only Mikel Arteta but Martinelli himself has been key in this. One thing, as you said there, I fully agree with you, Glenn. Arteta has been very transparent with the things that he said and Martinelli's development. However, the media, Arsenal media, which is pretty naughty. I don't want to name names, but you know who they are. There's about 3 or 4 of you. Have kept on digging. Like, they won't take what Mikel Arteta says with regards to Martinelli and how he needs to develop and how he's got a plan for him as gospel. And as you see now, you've got to start listening. like he's a very transparent manager, and when he says something, you've got to start to believe it now, and then until you see otherwise, and not when he says it, keep digging and digging and digging and digging. Because we've seen with Martinelli now that, he's starting to become a player, and what was it? Arteta said the other day, he's not trying to do everything at 100 miles an hour. He's trying to do it. He's got different gears, and when you look at it, it's true. It's true. He's still got elements of doing things at 100 miles an hour. It's just that the West Ham game we saw the other day and the Southampton game we saw, we're starting to see it like click, and hopefully he continues that because serious.
I liked what he said in an interview after the I think it was after the Manchester United game, and I can't remember who it was that was talking to him. But again, like you just said, Kieran, it was one of the reporters said to him, how do you feel about the lack of game time? Again, like you said, digging, for something, for him to say something. But, it was great what he said. And he turned around and he said, look, I said, I'm at Arsenal Football Club. I said, I don't care if I play 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. He said, I'll come on. He said, I'll do a job, and hopefully I'll get my chance when the time's right. And he said, I'm sure the manager knows when that is. And I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do you know what I mean? That's what you want to hear. And you'll find that. You'll find that. You'll find that. You go and find that somewhere. That's exactly what he said.
There we go. And that puts every speculation to bed. So you can't have Martinelli leaving here, left, right, and centre speculation anymore. All right. That is all we have time for. Thank you very much for joining us today, Glenn. And thank you very much for joining us today, Steve.
Yeah, welcome, mate. Cheers.
All right. And as always, please hit that like and subscribe. Peace out. Stay safe. And wash your hands.